the Philadelphi corridor. It's the 9-mile route separating Gaza and Egypt's Sinai Peninsula. It's considered the lifeline of Hamas, under which it has been smuggling weapons and other capabilities for years, through dozens, if not hundreds, of tunnels.
We're patrolling here on the Philadelphi corridor, securing one of the points. One of the guys was walking here, and suddenly, a pit. Not sure if you can see through the camera, but it's 13 feet deep. And the direction of the tunnel is that way. What's that way? The border with Egypt. And the tunnel passes under it.
It was seized back in May by IDF forces, who have since destroyed dozens of tunnels.
As part of the significant field achievements over the past week, we dismantled approximately 50 underground tunnels in the area of the Philadelphi corridor. We are focused on locating, neutralizing, and dismantling underground infrastructure in the area. Not all of them are active tunnels. Some of them are very old and have been dealt with in the past.
The Philadelphi corridor is also one of the main sticking points delaying a much-anticipated Gaza ceasefire deal, with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu refusing any proposal that does not allow Israel to remain there.
I am here deep in Rafah, along with the forces of the 162nd Division. My presence here only strengthened my understanding that our continued hold over the Philadelphi corridor and the Rafah crossing are critical for the future.
But will retaining control over the corridor actually prevent Hamas from regrouping? And does that make it more important than returning the hostages? According to all of Israel's security heads, the answer is no.
An agreement for the return of the hostages is an urgent moral imperative to save lives. The IDF is generating all the pressure required to create the best conditions for such an agreement, and this is how we have been operating since the end of the previous agreement. The IDF will know how to abide by any agreement that will be approved by the political echelon.
Also, former generals, including the last Israeli commander to oversee the corridor before the 2005 disengagement from Gaza, said holding the corridor did not prevent a single smuggling. Another retired Major General, Yitzhak Brik, explained this to Netanyahu in one of 6 meetings he had with the premier since October 7th.
The Philadelphi corridor is not a strategic asset. It is nothing, and I'll explain. I met with Netanyahu a few months ago and told him that in order to prevent smugglings through the tunnels beneath the corridor, you need to dig 150 feet under the ground, where you will find hundreds of tunnels that the IDF can't reach. The IDF sits above them and can't stop the constant flow of weapons from Sinai to Gaza. Netanyahu told me, we can't dig there. So we asked the Egyptians to do it themselves, and they refused. In other words, he told me there is no solution.
In fact, despite Israel locating dozens of tunnels, Egypt officially denies a single tunnel exists.
The ongoing war on our eastern border that requires all our efforts to prevent it from extending further, especially with all the threats it represents to the Egyptian national security in particular, and to the Palestinian case in general.
And so, despite Netanyahu's insistence, Israeli current and former military officials say holding the corridor above ground does not have any effect on what happens underground, and that between the Philadelphia corridor or the hostages, there is only one clear choice, and their time is running out.